The next US government-funded organization that I want to cover that's supporting these anti-government protests in Thailand is called Prachatai. If we go to their official website here, they claim to be an independent web newspaper established in 2004. Now, this claim of being independent is a little doubtful because if we scroll down on the very same web page and we look at their funding sources, we notice that since the year they were founded, they took money from organizations like the Rockefeller Foundation, linked to the US CIA, convicted financial criminal George Soros's Open Society Foundation, the US government's National Endowment for Democracy, and the Henrik Boll Foundation, linked to the German Green Party. The last time they updated their financial disclosures was in 2011. And one more point to note is that Prachatai is also known as the Foundation for Community Educational Media. Now, to check and see if Prachatai is still being funded by the US government today, we simply go to the most recent disclosure by the USNAD. We scroll down, and sure enough, we see the Foundation for Community Educational Media listed there, and it received $50,000 from the US government. In addition to receiving US government money to carry out their activities here in Thailand, Prachatai's executive director, a Miss Chiranuch Premchaiporn, is also a fellow at the USNAD. Now, we've already talked about how the NED's board of directors are people who are responsible for some of the worst crimes against humanity of the 21st century. These are people who directly participated in the 2003 US invasion of Iraq. They're also people who helped promote the US wars in Libya and Syria. They helped overthrow the Ukrainian government in 2014, and more recently, they were behind the riots in Hong Kong. So Prachatai is taking money from the USNAD from people like this, and their own director is a fellow at the USNAD. The US government provides political and public support for Prachatai as well. An example of this is this 2014 visit by Christy Kenny, then US ambassador to Thailand. And Chiranuch, the executive director of Prachatai, thanks her for her visit and the support for the team. So there's no doubt that the US government is both funding and supporting anti-government organizations like Prachatai. So not only is the US government funding and supporting Prachatai to advance an anti-government agenda here in Thailand to support these anti-government protesters who we've already shown are also funded and supported by the US government, but Prachatai is also providing support for the opposition parties the US government wants to put into power. This includes Thaksin Shinawat's Prachatai Party, but also Thanathorn's Future Forward, now known as Move Forward Party. At one point, there was a Prachatai staff member who was a co-founder of Future Forward Party. And here's an article from Prachatai itself. Future Forward Party's new faces reveal their dreams for Thailand. It includes a picture of the founding members of the Future Forward Party. And this woman right here in the middle, a Miss Natlapon, is also a staff member of Prachatai. And she was working at Prachatai while also a co-founder of this opposition party, Future Forward. So it's posing as a newspaper, an online newspaper, but it has staff members who are also a member of a political party they're supposed to be objectively writing about. So at a minimum, this is a huge conflict of interest. But worse than that is the fact that the US government, when they destabilize a country and they target the existing government with anti-government protests, there's always an opposition party that the US wants to put into power. And of course, among these parties is Thanathorn's Future Forward or Move Forward Party. And if you think it was a coincidence that the US was funding Prachatai and that Prachatai was not only attacking the current Thai government, but also supporting Thanathorn and his political party, take a look at this article from 2019. This is about all of these Western diplomats accompanying Thanathorn to the police station to hear charges on sedition. And among these countries was the US, the UK, and Germany, and many other Western countries that helped the US wreck one country after another all around the globe. Thai people need to know this information. about how the US government is interfering in their internal political affairs and how this is not democracy. This is political interference, and it's a form of modern day imperialism. And if you're a longtime reader of Prachatai and you didn't know that the US government was funding them, you have to ask yourself why they didn't disclose that, why they were hiding it, and why they were hiding it. And now that everyone is going to see it, they're going to start making excuses for it. So I hope people consider that, and I hope they consider what the USNAD has done to other countries around the globe, and then realize what they're going to do to Thailand if people don't wake up and do something about it. Please like and share the video if you thought it was helpful. If you subscribe to the channel, it helps it grow, and thank you for watching.